Hey, what's up guys? This is Kerr. In this video I'm going to show you the process that I went through for doing camera tracking and CG object placement for this project I did for school. Right here we just have some simple footage. It's only 72 frames of this guy holding a green screened laptop and a green screen what looks like a PSP here. But the responsibility for this project was to track his face so he could add in a digital helmet over top his head that follows along with his actual movement. So if I were to scrub through this animation here, or this footage here, you can see he starts looking up by looking up at the camera and then looking down at the PSP, and you see all these black dots on his head. These are so we can place object trackers, or excuse me, trackers across his face so we can map out his movement to digitally add in a helmet later on. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the footage without anything being done to it. This is just the raw footage with no CG work that has been done to it whatsoever. Okay, so if I go ahead and open up the scene where I've actually tracked his movements, this is what we have here. Let me go ahead and switch over to camera view here. Alright, so if we look at all these yellow markings with the green text underneath them, these are the trackers that are mapping out his movement. So if I zoom up on his face here, I've placed a tracker on all of these dots on his face. And if we scrub through this animation, it takes some work to get those trackers to stay in place. Okay, what they do is the trackers map out the pixel data to follow along pixels that retain the same type of color. That's why those black dots are placed there, so that the computer understands where the tracker should go. And sometimes it doesn't work out so well, and you kind of have to nudge the trackers back into place across the timeline. But all in all, this is how you get the camera to follow that motion. Okay, so if I zoom back out, and you can see as I scrub through this, the trackers are on the back of his head too, so you have to determine when those trackers become visible, which is kind of tedious. And it's boring work, but it's relatively simple stuff to do, which is it's nice that it's that simple, but it's just kind of boring. So I kind of put on a movie in the background or something so I can pass the time without being bored to death. So after that's all said and done, you export this tracker data into your 3D package, which in this case for me is Maya. So if I go ahead and open up Maya here, give that a second while it loads. So we'll go ahead and open up a scene. If I can find the right folder. Alright, so we go ahead and open up the Maya scene. So here we have all these little green crosses here. This is the exported data that was taken directly from SynthEyes, which is the program that you saw before. It's strictly a program for tracking markers on 2D footage and things like that. It's specifically for object tracking. So we take this tracking data and import it into Maya, and this allows us to match the digital model to the live action footage. So if I go ahead and show the polygons here, let me turn off X-ray and let me turn off the wireframe. And here we have the actual helmet. Now without these trackers, we actually constrained the helmet to the trackers and then reoriented the helmet into position so that it would actually follow along with the movement of his head according to the trackers that I laid out before. So if I go ahead and scrub through this now, we can see that the digital model is now following along with the guy on screen. So once again, I'll go ahead and hide the, not hide the cameras, excuse me, hide the polygons. I'll go ahead and play through this without the object in there. Okay, so that's that. And then once we actually put the polygons in place, the actual digital model, and we can now go ahead and play through it, and you can see that the helmet follows along the same movement, which is pretty cool. This is the first time I've ever actually comped in digital assets to live action footage, and it's pretty cool how it works out. Over the next month, we're actually going to render it out and do some compositing so it actually looks like one cohesive scene. This was just the first step of getting the model into place. We're actually going to animate things like his visor opening and closing and this little switch here. So if I go ahead and go into the controller, I can actually animate this guy here. And you can also animate the visor opening and closing. But we're going to get into that in next month's classes. But I just thought this was a cool project, and I would like to share with you guys. I hope you liked it.